Invigorating.
Empowering. Unique. It's not just a magazine.
We all know about you. I want to go back to the beginning stage, to the Black Panther movement, civil rights movement. They called your poetry militant poetry.
Yeah.
And I know that you were definitely a voice for, of course, young African-American women, just African-Americans, period. What were some of the challenges that you faced back then for you to derive some of the poetry that you did?
I think probably the most important thing to any writer is what you're reading, what you're learning. I was a history major at Fisk, and one of the, well, to be Black American, you have to know your history.
Right.
And I was seeing today, you know, there's been a lot of effort to wipe Black history out.
Right.
McGraw-Hill had that book that said the workers came from Africa. Well, they weren't workers, they were kidnapped people, they were slaves. And so you have to get things like that straight. And I enjoy storytelling. I'm a Tennessean by birth, and actually, I guess it's probably fair to say I'm Appalachian, because Knoxville, Tennessee is eastern Tennessee, as opposed to, say, for example, western Tennessee, which would be Memphis, or middle Tennessee, which would be Nashville. Now, I went to school in Nashville because I went to Fisk, but nonetheless, Fisk was not going to be a part of the segregationist. It was all segregation, but the kind of segregationist world that Memphis is going to represent. But Memphis is going to, if I had been, I guess I should write a poem about that. If I had been born in Memphis, I would have been a singer, because that's what comes out of, you know, you look at Stack's record, you look at Otis Redding, you look at all of that, you know, including the white boys coming out of Mississippi who come up to Memphis to copy black boys, Elvis Presley and them, and go on to make their fortune. So what I was trying to do is say, this is who I am, and this is who my people are.
And I was looking back at some old films from like '95 when they pretty much filmed. It was NBC, ABC, everyone was out there, but also you had BET Awards this weekend, the same weekend as the Million Man March. I just want to know your opinion on that, and what do you think about us not representing what actually took place during this weekend, and how important for us, or how important it was for us to actually display that?
First of all, I think that Louis Farrakhan is a good man, and I think that the concept of the Million Man March was an important concept. And it's hard to believe it's been 20 years, but it has. And my immediate other thought was, you know, it's too bad O.J. Simpson didn't have enough sense, because he got out of jail. You remember? He got out of jail a day or two before that. He should have gotten on the plane and gone to Washington and thanked black men and embraced black men, because black men tried to help him. Isn't he still in jail, or is he dead?
He's still in jail. He's not dead. He's still in jail.
I had a brain seizure. But a lot of people are. But that was stupid of OJ. Not to be a part of it. And I was very glad to see that he's pulling it together again. It's going to be difficult. I think that the Million Man March, of course, has led to Black Lives Matter, and it's led to certain small communities saying, and I don't mean little, I just mean that they're not trying to embrace the nation. They're saying, this is what we're going to do here. And we're watching the thing in Cleveland with Tamir. And of course, I think without that Million Man March, we wouldn't have the same response. And I think we've had a good response. And of course, that cop, cop never asked the kid to put the gun down. It was just a kid. And you have to know the difference between a 12-year-old boy. If you don't, then you shouldn't be a policeman. I mean, that's so basic. And so what it says when you kill a 12-year-old boy is that you're scared, but you're not allowed to be scared. You're a police officer.
And with that being said, with all the Black Lives Matter, and then the back and forth, and how African Americans look at police officers now because of all the brutality, everything that's just been happening in society, period. What's your advice for especially young people like myself? What's your pledge for us? How do we get involved, and how do we change the perception and everything that's going on in society right now?
Well, I don't know what we can change. I mean, be really clear. The days of segregation, the days of white only or black only, or any of that, those days are gone. And so something else is evolving. And I'm not really sure what. I know one thing, and I've been reading Coates' book, Between the World and Me, and well, if I had mine here, I'd give it to you. I don't like it because I don't think that we can tell our kids. I have a son. I don't think we can tell our kids that, you know, you have to be careful.
Right.
Because that's not the way we're Americans. That's not the way you live your life. Right. And we who love you want you to live. There's no question. Yeah. But I teach. I'm here in my office. That door is open. I teach in the classroom. Other way here, Major Wins. The door is open, and the kids laugh at me. You say, you know, well, we've had, as you know, 32 people were killed on this campus,
yes, ma'am.
Virginia Tech. We were the beginning of that big thing, and we have many all across the country. We had the shooting recently, of course, in Oregon and Texas. You know, we've had, but you can't live saying I'm gonna close the door and I'm gonna lock it because somebody might come and shoot me. It just doesn't work. If you, then what's the point of your life? Right. You're supposed to be able to live your life. I sincerely don't want to be shot. Right. I can't.
No one does.
I can't tell you how much I don't want to be shot. Right. Now, we do know that guns are a bad idea. So I've been disappointed that the president hasn't taken a stronger stance on guns, which I think he should. We do know that any fool can go and buy a gun in any gun show, no background check, nothing. Right. And what bothers me as a anti-gun, and I am anti-gun, I'm not trying to be nice about it, is that you can actually go and learn to shoot, because people forget shooting a gun is not easy. And it always when you look at it on television, you know, the cowboy pulls his gun out and he shoots and bang bang and they're all dead. But if you and I had a gun and we're trying to shoot it, even an automatic, it's hard to shoot. Right. And it's harder to shoot and hit something. It's very hard to do. So one of the things that we know people do when they decide they want to shoot something is they go and practice at a shooting gallery. Well, why is it that they don't have to show a photo ID that goes into a central location? It's so basic. If you go in, you say, okay, I'm going down to Floyd, I'm going down to Floyd and I'm going to shoot. Well, Mr. Cho, who shot 32 people, practiced for over a year. If we had known that he was there shooting for over a year, then Captain Brown, who was our police chief, would have been able to say, you know, I need to check into this young man. Maybe something else is going on. So I want to know where they're practicing shooting. Wow. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that white people ought to have to admit that they're scared, and they're scared because they've done evil, ugly, dirty thing, and so we think since they call themselves Christian that it's time for them to repent.
That's deep. So just going back to the Virginia Tech shooting, a horrific experience, I'm sure. And the young man, he was actually in your class, right? So just looking back on the experience, and I'm pretty sure you've answered this a million times, but we have to know, did you sense anything before then about this particular person, or?
Of course, I had no concept that he's going to kill 32 people.
Right.
I did know something wasn't working. I could put it another way, something was wrong. And I don't know, I think Mr. Cho was in my class maybe 2 weeks or something like that, but it was just something that felt bad to me. Right. And so I asked him, and I don't have private conversations with my students, and so we were in class, and I said to him, you know, Mr. Cho, would you like for me to help you find, obviously you're unhappy, would you like for me to help you find another class? And he said no. Oh, he was also taking pictures, you know, just doing some ugly. And he said no. And I said, well, Mr. Cho, let me, let's look at this another way. I teach you Tuesday and Thursday. On Thursday, one of us shouldn't be here. Now, it's going to be my suggestion. That is not you.
Oh, was that bad?
Oh, no, he would go, no. I meant it. And he said, what do you have? I said, well, either you're going to be out of my class or I'm going to resign from Virginia Tech. And he said, you're not going to do that. And I said, Mr. Cho, you don't know me, but I know you.
With the same smile on your face, too.
Probably. And I went over to my department head, and I said to her, you know, this, something, I knew something wasn't working for me. This young man has to. And she knew him, too. And she said, oh, well, I'll teach him. Do you mind if I teach him? I said, I don't care who teaches him, but on Thursday, either he's out of my class or the next thing on your desk will be my resignation, because I'm I'm not going into this. And I think everybody thought I didn't mean it, but of course I did. I was eating before I came to Tech, and I'll be eating when I leave. Right. Let's say again, I'm going to quote Malcolm Jamal, Warner, who was saying it should not have happened.
Right.
And at some point you have to know who you are and where you are. And I don't mean to not give you an answer, but I know it all goes back to his relationship with Autumn's mother.
Right.
And I know that anything like that, you have to deal with it.
Right.
And the reality still is not that you send your son out with a check to pay it off.
Right.
Actually, I don't think it was a check. It probably was a suitcase full of cash.
Right.
Because somebody wanted that cash. Knowing that that cash was coming, somebody killed Ennis, which was really sad. But I think that Bill has other issues. And it probably would have been a really good idea for him to have gotten help. And I don't understand Hillary at all. I don't understand why Hillary Clinton, who was married to a president, who then went on to become Secretary of State and all of the crap. I forget all of the things. But every time we need a woman for something, it's been Hillary Clinton. Right. There's no other woman in the United States. And if it doesn't seem strange to you, it seems strange to me. Does. And then I watched Barack Obama, and I'm very disappointed in Barack, who has appointed 2 women to the Supreme Court, but no blacks. So there's no black to balance out for fool like Clarence Thomas. And we need to balance. We actually, he should have impeached Clarence Thomas. Clarence is a fool, and we know that. But there's something else going on, and we're telling the people, this is what you should do. And I don't know that the people need to be told, this is what you should do. I think the people know what they should do. Right. And I think the people are moving toward their own, for lack of a better word, revolution. Because revolution isn't always bang, bang. Right. So there are also revolutions that say, well, this is the way we're going to do it. And I think the kids are all right, frankly speaking.
So what's next on the list for you? The last published something you did was Utopia, right? So what's after? Do you have anything coming out soon? Of course, I'm sure you're always writing, but
well, I'm not always. But what I've been thinking about, because I had a brain seizure, and it's not a stroke. Seizures are just totally different. It's your short-term memory that you lose to some degree, but not your long-term memory. But then I realized I'm arguing with my doctor. He and I, and he's a good doctor, but I think I'm right. And my position is, seizures are caused by emotion. Strokes we know are physical. Right. So we know if you have a stroke, you can do this, that, and the other, and we can sort of correct it. But seizures are not, it's not that they're not correctable, it's that there's another emotional world going on. And so I was saying to his name is Gregory, I was saying to Gregory, I think that what I need to do is I think that women don't cry. And he was like, women do cry. I said, no. And you can ask your mother. Women don't cry because we go ahead and do whatever it is that has to be done. And so we suck it up, as it were. Or as our friends will say this, we go forward. And you hold it in, and hold it in, and hold it in. And next thing you know, it's going to come out someplace. And so you have this, you have a seizure. And I think that, I think it's an American thing too. I think that we need to let people cry, or encourage people to cry, or, because what you see on TV is not real. Right. And what you see from your mother, your grandmother, that's real, and they're not doing that. Right. My mother died. You have to sell the house. You have to sell the car. You have to do. You have things to do. You have to cook for the people who are coming. When my grandmother died, we had to go and we had to cook. And I'll never forget the O'Neill sisters. You have things to do, and so you do them. So you don't have the time to mourn. Right. And so the new book, I think, is going to be called A Good Cry, because I think you
heard that reveal. We got it first.
Yes, you do. But I think that's what we need to learn to do is to take the time to have a good cry.
That's right.
That we are.
We are, and I thank you. I told you are my shero and Oprah. I love you guys so much, so I'm truly honored. This will be when I finally get to your status. Whoa. I'll say, you know what, Nikki Giovanni, she gave me an opportunity. Now I just need to get to Oprah. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Reveal Magazine US doing what we do best, and that's revealing to you all more of the world's best kept secrets. Of course, once again, Miss Nikki Giovanni, Shalon checking in. We'll see you guys next time.
Invigorating.
Empowering.
Unique. It's not just a magazine.
It's a movement.
Reveal Magazine US is an online publication that features young, professional, and minority entrepreneurs. Are you an entrepreneur on the rise? Should we reveal you next? If so, send us your information at info@revealmagus.com. Here's your opportunity to be revealed.